Imagine this. Two people, same task, same skills, but one seems much more driven than the other. Ever wondered why? This question forms the basis of our exploration today as we delve into the fascinating world of motivation. Motivation, in essence, is the fuel that powers our actions, the wind that fills the sails of our behavior. It's an invisible force, yet its effects are undeniable. It's the difference between hitting the snooze button and jumping out of bed raring to go. It's what compels us to push through, to persevere, to pursue, and ultimately to perform. But what exactly is this force that propels us forward? Why does it vary so drastically from one individual to another, even under identical circumstances? Well, my friends, that's the mystery we're here to unravel. In our journey today, we'll explore two primary forms of motivation: intrinsic and extrinsic. Intrinsic motivation, driven by personal interest and satisfaction, and extrinsic motivation, fueled by external rewards or consequences. Both are powerful, both are potent, but they operate differently and can lead us on very different paths. Moreover, we'll be looking at the role of goal setting. Not just any goals, mind you, but SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. The kind of goals that provide focus, create drive, and can be the difference between wandering aimlessly and sprinting towards success. Finally, we'll delve into the self-determination theory, a psychological model that suggests our motivation is sustained by meeting three fundamental needs: autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Intrigued? You should be, because understanding motivation, knowing what drives us, can be the key to unlocking our full potential and achieving not just success, but long-term, sustainable success. So let's dive in and uncover the mystery behind what fuels our drive. Intrinsic motivation. It sounds complex, but it's quite simple. Imagine this. You're sitting in a cozy room, engrossed in a novel that you just can't seem to put down. You're not reading because you have to, nor are you reading because someone will reward you for finishing the book. You're reading because the story excites you, because each page turn is a thrill. This, my friends, is an example of intrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is that driving force that comes from within us. It's not about chasing external rewards or avoiding punishments. No, it's about personal satisfaction, about doing something simply because it brings us joy, because it fulfills us. Think about your hobbies. Maybe you love painting, playing an instrument, or running marathons. You do these activities, not for some external validation or reward, but because they make you feel good. They challenge you, they engage you, they make you lose track of time. That's intrinsic motivation at work. Intrinsic motivation is like fuel for our passions. It's what gets us up early on a Saturday morning for a run or keeps us awake late at night working on a painting. It's that burning desire to learn a new language, to master a musical instrument, or to conquer the highest mountain peak. But it's not just about hobbies. Intrinsic motivation can also drive us in our work. When we find genuine interest and satisfaction in what we do, we are intrinsically motivated. We strive to do better, not because we seek a promotion or a raise, but because we find fulfillment in the process of learning, growing, and achieving. Intrinsic motivation, then, is like an inner compass, guiding us towards what genuinely interests and fulfills us. It's that spark within us that ignites our passions and fuels our journey towards personal growth and self-fulfillment. And remember, when we're intrinsically motivated, we're not just doing something because we should, but because we truly want to. Intrinsic motivation, then, is like an inner compass, guiding us towards what genuinely interests and fulfills us. Now let's move beyond the self and explore the world around us. Welcome to the realm of extrinsic motivation. Imagine a world where you are a ship sailing on the vast sea of life. But what propels you? What pushes you forward or steers you away from certain paths? Enter extrinsic motivation, your wind and waves, a force that is not generated from within, but rather from the world around you. Extrinsic motivation is a fascinating concept. It's a type of motivation that is influenced by external factors and not by our internal desires or passions. It's the prospect of a reward or the fear of a punishment that drives us to act in certain ways. Let's consider a few examples to illustrate this. Imagine you're a student studying for an exam. Your ultimate goal might not be the joy of learning, but rather the reward of a good grade or the avoidance of a failing one. This is extrinsic motivation in action. Or consider your job. You might not be passionate about the tasks you do daily, but the paycheck at the end of the month, the promotion you're eyeing, or even the fear of losing your job can be powerful motivators to perform well. But here's an important point to remember. Extrinsic motivation isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's just different. While it's true that intrinsic motivation, which comes from within us, is often more sustainable and fulfilling, extrinsic motivators can be incredibly effective, especially in the short term. They can help us get started, push us to work harder, and even help us stick with tasks we may not enjoy. So whether it's the lure of a shiny trophy, the promise of recognition, or the threat of a penalty, extrinsic motivation plays a crucial role in our lives. It's the external push that often complements our internal pull. It's the wind that propels our sails, steering us towards rewards and away from penalties. Extrinsic motivation, therefore, is the wind that propels our sails, pushing us towards rewards or away from penalties. The power of setting goals. Goals, like lighthouses, guide our journey, but how do they fuel our motivation? Imagine you're on a road trip without a destination in mind. You might enjoy the ride for a while, but eventually you'll crave a sense of direction, a purpose. This is where goal setting comes into play. Goals are not just destinations, they're the roadmap to our desired destination. Let's talk about SMART goals, an acronym that stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. When we say specific, we mean a clear and concise target. Instead of saying, I want to read more, aim for I want to read 2 books a month. This specificity gives your goal a tangible shape, a clear target to aim at. Measurable refers to setting parameters that allow you to track your progress. If your goal is to lose weight, specifying a target weight gives you a yardstick to measure your progress and adjust your actions accordingly. Next, we have achievable. It's essential to set goals that challenge you, but they should still be within your reach. If you set a goal that's too far out of your reach, it could lead to frustration and demotivation. Relevant goals are those that align with your broader life plans. If you're aiming to become a professional musician, practicing your instrument daily is a relevant goal, while learning to cook Italian food might not be. Lastly, time-bound. Setting a time frame creates a sense of urgency and gives you a deadline to work towards. It's the difference between saying I'll learn Spanish someday and I'll become fluent in Spanish by the end of next year. By setting SMART goals, you give your motivation a destination to drive towards, a focus that can enhance both your intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation, the drive that comes from within, is fueled by the personal satisfaction of achieving a goal. Extrinsic motivation, on the other hand, is powered by the external rewards that come with achieving a goal. Remember, a well-defined goal is not just a destination, but a roadmap to our desired destination. So, set your SMART goals, let them be your lighthouses, and see how they guide you towards the success you seek. So, what drives you? Is it the love for what you do, or the rewards that come with it, or perhaps a blend of both? This question of motivation is not just a philosophical musing, but a key to unlock your full potential. We've journeyed through the realms of intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, exploring how our internal desires and external rewards shape our actions and aspirations. It's crucial to remember that intrinsic motivation, that internal fire kindled by personal interest and enjoyment, can fuel our drive towards long-term success and fulfillment. It's the passion that keeps you going, even when the going gets tough. On the other hand, we can't overlook the power of extrinsic motivation. The allure of external rewards or the avoidance of penalties can often nudge us into action. It's that extra push that can help us cross the finish line, especially when our intrinsic motivation might be waning. But understanding what motivates us is only half the battle won. The other half involves setting clear, specific, and achievable goals. Remember the SMART framework? Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals can provide focus and direction to our efforts. It's like having a roadmap that guides us towards our destination, helping us to navigate the journey of self-improvement with more confidence and clarity. As we wrap up this discussion, let's not forget the self-determination theory's emphasis on autonomy, competence, and relatedness. Meeting these psychological needs can sustain our intrinsic motivation, making our journey towards self-improvement more enjoyable and rewarding. As we conclude this journey of self-discovery, remember that knowing what drives you can unlock your full potential. Subscribe to Online with Teresa and share your thoughts in the comments. After all, the journey of self-improvement never ends. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing.